Thank you very much for that glowing intro, Alex. It's full of lies, but I'll take it. How are we all doing, Kingston? Woo! 70-50. Much nicer than where I'm from. We'll get to that later. I'm really glad to be here, and I mean that. Normally I wouldn't be stoked to be in Kingston, but I've been like deathly ill for the last few days. Hit me while I was on holidays, which is really fucking cool. And I just spent 4 days just violently shitting. Just unbelievable. Wouldn't stop. And now I am the proud owner of a hemorrhoid the size of Steve McNeese. And it's equally hard to put up with. I had to apply some treatment to it today. It was just unbearable, you know. And I've got to say, in my 37 and a bit years, I've faced no existential dilemma as fucked as squatting over the forward-facing camera on my phone just to make sure that I was getting full coverage. That's how I spent my day. I was working from home, and my wife came home while I was doing that. And she said, I'm just here to get the list of things I need from Spotlight. And I said, okay, I'm just in here putting cream on my asshole. And our relationship is such, and we've been together for such a long time, she just went, okay, love you. Out she went. I was walking home recently. It was the night of a gig. That's important to point out. And I was meant to start a stopwatch at the beginning of this, by the way. So let's see how long this goes. My apologies. So I can stick to time. Fuck it. All right, let's see how we go. Well, the good news is I'm closing with G's song. I was walking home and it was the night of a gig, right? So I live in the northern suburbs. I live in a suburb called Goodwood. It's not one of the roughest ones, but certainly not one of the nicest ones either. Let's put it that way. And I do not live in what is affectionately called the Paris end of Goodwood, ladies and gentlemen. And in fact, to get to where I need to be, I have to go through basically the Gaza Strip of Goodwood. And normally there is a bunch of kids from the local primary school there to just antagonise me about something. And that's fine. Like, I have like a corporate job. I'm used to just turning up and getting shit on every day. So for the most part, I can just like brush that off, right? But one of them, I just want to, again, it was like the day of a gig. And it's important to point out that on the day of a gig, as soon as I walk out of the office, I try to go into like comedy mode, right? I don't want to be like thinking about work and all corporate and shit when I go to a gig, right? Being at the gig is meant to be a good time and I've got to be funny, not like thinking about data analytics and boring shit. So I was in comedy mode, right? And anyway, I'm walking through the gaggle and I got insulted by one of the kids. Now, again, normally I would just ignore this. I didn't exactly hear what he said, but I could tell from his arse-long rat's tail that it was definitely an insult. And also the fact that he called me brah at the end of it, kind of like really nailed that point home. So again, normally I just ignore it, just kind of smile, whatever, listen to my podcast and just keep walking. But Comedy Brain went like, he's a heckler. And I just went, what, cunt? So if I never perform here again, I've been bashed to death by those Goodwood primary school kids and all their families. We had a referendum recently. I don't want to talk about the results. That's not why we're here. It happened. Let's move on. But it does lead me to something I think about frequently, which is that I don't think Australia can be trusted with a democracy anymore. In fact, I'd like to propose a new referendum, which is, firstly, that no one over the age of 60 is allowed to vote. Anyway. The world you knew is gone. Okay? You will be dead soon. Stop affecting us. And if you do manage to keep living, we are going to improve things without your shitty voting getting in the way. So you will be all the better off for it. I'm of Greek heritage. We invented democracy. Cleisthenes, the father of modern democracy. Fuck that guy, right? Because we've had it for a long time and we've clearly showed that we can't be trusted. And I just want to cast your minds back to 2016 when Australia faced maybe the most important election in our entire history, right? And I can still remember where I was, sitting in a backyard in West Hobart, listening to the results on the radio. And Kendrick Lamar's King Kunta played at number 2 in the Hottest 100. And my ears pricked up. And I went, what the fuck? No, this is number 1, dickheads. Do you know what Australia voted for that year? The fucking Rubens. Australia whitewashed an election. What a fucking surprise. Don't let us vote. We keep getting it wrong. I don't know how long I've been here, so I'll try and think of something that I can finish with. Yeah, okay. I've been trying to look after myself a bit better recently. COVID, I used to be a competitive athlete, believe it or not. I had visible abs. Yeah, right. High five. I was super fit, and then COVID came along and kind of removed my access to the gym or any will to live. And what it did was it took my daily, high intensity exercise routine and replaced it with day drinking cheap Shiraz out of a coffee mug during my work meetings. And I just never looked back, and that was 3 years ago. But I am trying to turn it around, right? But life, many years ago, I've got kids now, a wife and a house and a mortgage and fucking stressful job and all those things. And I think back to, the peak of my physical fitness and what responsibilities I had back then, right? Life was significantly less chaotic back then, ladies and gentlemen. I'd knock off, go to the gym for 2 hours, go home, heat up some chicken and broccoli and brown rice, whatever bullshit I was eating at the time. Probably have 3 or 4 tins and just be like, should I go to bed in an effort to be refreshed for my day tomorrow, or should I take mushrooms and watch The Matrix again? I assure you this is no joke. I've seen that movie over 200 times. Just to let you know what choice I was making. Life now is obviously significantly more chaotic, ladies and gentlemen. The routine now is more get home, don't even open the front door, just stand in front of it for a moment of peace before I give myself a little pep talk. It's going to be okay, get in there. Slap myself on the ass, in the door. And then I'm just met with a barrage of bullshit from my children. And then I try and put a dent in the seemingly endless piles of fucking washing and dishes. And then I eat purely for sustenance, mind you. I've not enjoyed a meal in years. And then I get the kids to bed. And then, and only then, do I have a moment to myself for the fucking day, really. And the decision then is more should I go to bed now in an effort to be sort of refreshed for work tomorrow? Or should I perhaps try and pursue one of the very few hobbies that I've managed to keep since becoming a dad? And then what happens while I try to think about what I should do is I just sit in complete silence in the lounge room and stare into the abyss for about 20 minutes, realise I should have gone to bed half an hour ago, and just go and pass out eventually. That's life. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But I am making an effort. I acknowledge, obviously, that's shit to be around, so I don't want to be that guy. I'm trying to make a genuine effort to turn that frown upside down and find a silver lining in all clouds. And I'm doing pretty good. So an example of that recently is that my wife was pursuing one of the very few hobbies that she's managed to keep since becoming a mum, which is just coming up behind me when I'm alone and unsuspecting in a room and just giving me one of these ones, just a... You were in my dream last night. Now, who knows what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It means I was a cunt in that dream and I'm about to hear all about it. She's generally between me and the exit. I've got nowhere to go. Leap out a window. So, old me, perhaps justifiably, was a little bit pissed off by that. He wasn't quite sure why real me was being held responsible for the actions of dream me. Didn't think that was very fair. But new me is trying to, turn a new leaf. So, I try and reframe it. I just think, hey, mate, like maybe it's really nice that after all these years of being together and like all the things that you've got to put up with in your lives, maybe it's really lovely that your wife still feels the need and still feels safe and comfortable enough to come up and speak to you about what you did in her dreams. And maybe you should be really fucking grateful that she's got no idea what you do in yours. All right, thanks heaps, ladies and gents.